You download the game, you start playing, and you notice that one of the three characters that are given has huge arms for a hat. Who is this character? This is my quick guide to Cerebella. With the growing number of characters in the game, there's just so much variety that it can be a bit confusing for those of you who may have just started playing, especially if you're new to fighting games. You may be thinking, how do I play these characters and what makes them different from each other? So in this video, I'd like to help you all out and shed a bit of light. Out of all the characters available, I will start with Cerebella, one of the three characters that you are given at the start of the game. I will first give a brief introduction to her character, covering her basic gameplay and background information, before moving on to her movesets and variants. I really hope that this video can be a useful guide to those of you who are new to the game. Without further ado, let's begin! As you start playing Cerebella, you will notice that she's relatively slow and a bit clunky. You'll find yourself knocking down the opponent fast, which shuts down any further combos. And so you're left there, blocking while waiting for another opening to attack. This was one of the reasons why I disliked using her at first, but I soon realized that her gameplay does not revolve around combos that much. Rather, she's a character that deals high burst damage in just a few hits. This makes her an easy fighter to learn for beginners, and especially suitable for those who like to deal massive damage with very little effort. Her aptitude for high damage is made possible because of her naturally high base stats in both HP and attack. This makes her an excellent character to be used in both offense and defense, and you'll notice that once you start investing in Cerebella variants, they will most likely have a higher fighter score than your other fighters, simply because of her monster stats alone. Damage is not the only thing she has got. Her character ability Bouncing Act causes enemies to be staggered when she performs a throw break. This is how it looks like in action. Notice how the opponent gets a bit dazzled for a while, allowing you a window to freely attack and finish the game. Now, this also works with the AI, and for this reason, when you face a Cerebella, it is generally advised to use your throws carefully. Usually, the first throw will work, but a second throw in quick succession will almost always force the AI to throw break, leading you to a very deadly situation. Once you fully upgrade any Cerebella skill tree, you'll be given a choice to pick one of two marquee abilities, Upper Hand or Ringleader. Both abilities allows your throws to inflict either meter loss or special move Antagonist Disable. Out of the two, Upper Hand is generally the superior marquee ability, as it provides meter control, which is universally good in all situations, while Ringleader is more specific to certain scenarios, which may be more relevant in late parts of the game. Upper Hand also allows Cerebella to keep harassing the opponent without having to worry about an unblockable Tier 3 blockbuster. Now that we've covered her abilities, it's time to go over her moves. As said before, Cerebella has very little combo potential, and her moves doesn't really help much in that regard. While there are a lot of moves to choose from, if you are not sure where to start, I highly recommend equipping these 4 moves: Go-rilla, Battle Butt, Diamond Drop, and Diamonds Are Forever. All of these moves are one-hit moves that deals massive damage upon a single hit. 2 of these moves, Go-rilla and Diamond Drop, even bypasses blocking, which gives you free hits that can be comboed with the other 2 moves. For the 5th move slot, since you can't equip the same blockbuster, equipping another Go-rilla is a very good choice. Now let's see these moves in action. So you've seen those 4 moves in action, but of course, there are still many other moves available. Some of these moves are great, while others are only used for specific purposes or with certain variants. I will let you guys explore them yourselves as you play through the game and make your own decisions. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part. The common question that gets thrown around in the chat room is whether X variant is good or bad. Personally, I like to believe that every variant has its own niche and can be useful in certain scenarios. Furthermore, the number of variants released in the game will only continue to increase, and some variants that are underwhelming could potentially get buffed. For that reason, instead of listing all of Cerebella's variants and assess them on a good or bad scale, I'm going to use a different metric and go by a priority scale. Generally speaking, a lot of Cerebella's variants are great, but resources are limited and choices will have to be made. So which Cerebella variant should be prioritized to invest and evolve? The number 1 Cerebella fighter that everyone should have is Harlequin for 3 simple reasons: high base attack, powerful support skill, and ease of availability. As a Cerebella, Harlequin already has high base stats, but her attack stat is among the highest of all Cerebellas. Her ability increases damage of special moves and decreases their cooldown, allowing players to easily reuse moves such as go-rilla that will do massive damage. You can even do something ridiculous like this with her. Furthermore, this skill applies to all teammates, so you can easily build multiple Harlequins and place one in the back to quickly recharge crucial special moves such as outtakes and taunts that you need in high rank play. The best thing about Harlequin is that she can be easily obtained from Cerebella's prize fight, so she is readily available as long as you can grind enough to reach the top 10%. I honestly think that Harlequin is one, if not the best fire element fighter that everyone should evolve into Diamond, especially if you're looking forward to participate in future Rift battles. The other Cerebella variant that deserves the spotlight is Toad Warrior. Toad Warrior is simply one of the best silvers in the game, and as a silver, this means that she is much more accessible to newer players. You can obtain her from Silver Fighter relics or Premier relics, and she also does not require as much investment as gold or diamond tier fighters. What makes Toad Warrior great is her ability that allows you to quickly charge blockbusters such as Diamond Drop and Diamonds Are Forever just by doing a normal combo and staying close to the opponent. She also gains 50% bonus damage, which lets her put a dent to defenders in the gold and diamond tiers. Her only drawback is that as a silver, she can be quite frail when compared to the gold or diamond tier Cerebellas. While there are other air element fighters that may take priority, such as Surgeon General and Claw and Order, Toad Warrior is definitely a great candidate to Diamond, and she is also widely used in high rank play. I do think that Harlequin and Toad Warrior are the 2 Cerebellas that everyone should have and invest in. However, Cerebella's naturally high base stats coupled with her moves and abilities alone makes her a very good fighter. Honestly, it's difficult to go wrong with Cerebella, regardless of the variant. Once you have invested in Harlequin and Toad Warrior, I recommend investing in other Cerebellas, starting from those in the gold tier. They are not as expensive to invest as diamond tier fighters, but their base stats and signature abilities will allow them to be viable until late parts of the game. Just to summarize, Cerebella is a type of character that deals significant chunk of damage in low number of hits. She relies a lot on her high base stats in HP and attack, but because of this, she has very little ways to deal with variants that heavily buff themselves. Her abilities and throw-based moves allows her to control the flow of battle in her favor, making her a great fighter of choice in many scenarios.